morning, everyone. Thank you for viewing. Grab your coffee or your tea. I have my tea with me this morning. Guess what? We're celebrating because it's our 14th anniversary at About Senior Solutions. I'm Mary Winters. I'm a gerontologist, the owner of About Senior Solutions, and you are watching Visionary Aging. And really think of us as the hub of services and care for what you might need for a senior, but also what's your vision of aging? Are you preparing for what you want as we age? Are you making sure that you'll be safe in your home? Are you making sure that your finances will be set in a way that you can retire in a way that you really want to? So we offer all kinds of information and special guests to make sure that your planning moves forward in the way that you have your vision for aging. And today we have a great show because we have Roxy Chan on. She's a CPA, and she's going to talk a little bit about the planning and when we have a long-term marriage, say, and one of the spouses passes away, sometimes they miss a bunch of things that really need to take place, and there's a lot of prepping that you could do way before, so it's not a hassle. It's something you don't even have to think about, and you can save a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of angst. It's the big thing. We want to save you a lot of any kind of trouble that you would run into. Also, we have a lovely lady from Mobile, Alabama, whose birthday it is. I think it was a couple days ago, but she's celebrating this week. And when you're 100, I think you just need to celebrate every single day for the entire year and more, like maybe 10 times a day. So we'll congratulate her and share her story a little bit. And Steve McCullough has a caregiver question, so we'll ask him what it is that one of our viewers are wanting to know about. So let me move on here to our little birthday girl. Let's see here. I have our little intro for birthdays, and let's see if I can click on here and make it work. Look at this lovely lady. She is amazing. I love to see how vibrant and just, I mean, look at her. I mean, even her clothes are vibrant and beautiful. She just has this amazing smile, and she deserves the crown that she's wearing. Her name is Ms. Eva Mae Miller, and she is 100. And Carrie Ann Luter from New4 Jax wrote the story to let all of us know that, oh, she's not from Mobile, she's from Jacksonville. And she's having a unique birthday celebration because it's been held, they've been hanging on and making sure that this precious lady from Jacksonville is going to be celebrated appropriately. It is a huge milestone. They wanted everybody to know on Sunday. They made a big, huge announcement. And they call her Mother Miller. Everybody calls her Mother Miller. And her family and friends were there to celebrate with her. And she is a resident in Greenland, and they had a huge drive-by celebration. Actually, they had some really neat video too, which I wasn't able to pull, but all kinds of family and friends were celebrating her with cards and balloons and that lovely tiara. The tiara actually says that she's 100. She's a mother figure for her local church, and she says that she loves the Lord. And I think that's a common theme for a lot of the seniors that we have. They do talk about their faith, and I think that's so wonderful. So let me now go ahead, and we're going to add in Steve McCullough for his caregiver question. Let me see if I can find his little video. Hold on one moment. Let's see here. Do we have it? Let's see. Oh, there's Roxy. Roxy's going to be on with us later. Hold on just a second. We'll bring Steve on. Oh, I guess that's not going to want to work. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. my gosh, look at this. We just have everybody on board today. Hold on just a second. And Steve, you tell us what's going on. What is your caregiver solution today? Did you know we were 14 today? Or this year we're 14? We just celebrated 14.
I did not know that.
I know, it's pretty exciting. In fact, I think
congratulations.
Moving forward, I think we're going to share some caregiver stories. I'm going to have the team on, and people have been writing the most incredible messages thanking us. And honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with the families that we work with at About Senior Solutions. And it made me cry. Some of these letters were just incredible. So I feel as luckier to work with them. So anyway.
So did you start the company when you were like 17 then?
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't even 17. I was more like 11. Yeah. So what's going on? What question came in for you?
So the question that we have, I think we kind of touched on a little bit of this topic before, but it's about in-home care as far as like dental care, medical care, and where do people go when they can't get out of the house and they have like a dental emergency or medical emergency? Like not something they want to go to the hospital for, but something that they need to be seen by a doctor or see by a dentist.
Yeah, I mean, your dentist, your personal dentist often has emergency hours where they will connect or bring you in. But there are these great mobile dentists too. I work with a couple in particular, and they are just amazing. And they can do quite a bit. They can do fillings, they can do x-rays. There may be some bigger things that they would prefer to have somebody go to a dentist for. But honestly, I mean, I've seen Dr. Mandel out of Los Angeles area. She is incredible. She brings all of her equipment in. She's able to do the x-rays there. She's filled cavities. She cleans teeth. She does whatever somebody needs. And usually they're just sitting on their couch, just as comfortable as can be. And I think that's the thing that's key, is just making sure that if it's really challenging to move somebody, dental hygiene is so important in regards to our heart function. And it's something to have, your teeth cleaned regularly. There are hygienists who will come out too, and to the home. It is a little bit more expensive, but it is something that is very valuable, I think, to maintain your health. And it's so important too to maintain your teeth so that you can eat properly too.
Right.
That happened. Oh my gosh, Steve, I have a client right now who she was awarded a settlement amount with settlement, and she really was a person without any means. And when I met with her, I said, she doesn't speak very clearly. And of course, we're all using PPE, and she'd had a stroke. So I thought maybe the cause of the majority of the reason why she wasn't able to speak well was because of her stroke. She didn't have any teeth. I kept kind of, digging a little bit more. Why? She had no teeth. So it will be an honor to make sure that she's able to get what she needs, and hopefully she'll be able to eat better and feel better and look better too. So,
right, and confidence.
Yes, exactly. So I'm excited for her. It's going to be a really, really neat thing to see the change. So I've already popped Roxy up. She's amazing. She's a CPA, and Roxy Chan, and she's going to be our guest for today. So I'm excited to talk with her a little bit.
Excellent. Have a great show.
All righty. Thank you so much. I will. I'm going to bring the picture of Roxy on and share a little bit about how great she is. So welcome, Roxy Chan. She's going to talk a little bit about supporting the surviving spouse and what kinds of things are really important. She's the principal at Tax Artisans Accountancy Corporation, and she works as the lead accountant. She does tons of accountancy work. I'm probably saying that wrong. We'll get her to correct me. But she works in trust and real estate accounting. She used to at a large accounting firm for more than 10 years. and has over 20 years of valuable work experience because she's done, I'm sure, hundreds of these types of scenarios. And she's worked both in public and private industry, providing tax compliance and tax planning services for her clients. And she's a certified public accountant, licensed in the state of California. She holds a degree in accounting and a master's in taxation. And she is an incredible individual and a mom, and she's a member of the American Institution of Certified Public Accountants. And Roxy's a current board member of the State Planning Council of San Gabriel Valley and sits on the technical review panel of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Trust and Estate and Gift Committee. She's a frequent speaker and for professional organizations, so definitely reach out to her if you are looking for a pro to speak at your function. And let's go ahead, and without further ado, we are going to bring on Roxy Chan. Hold on, here we go. Let's see here. Steve's up. So I'm just fumbling with all the little things here today. So let's get Roxy on, get her picture out, and see if I can get this right today. Mercury retrograde, you know that. So all the best are going wonky on me today. Welcome, Roxy. Thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you spending your morning with us. It's great to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that you do frequently, is work with real estate transactions and matters in trust. And so when you have a surviving spouse, I know it could be very, very difficult for that individual. And what a great opportunity to have such a calming, supportive individual such as yourself to be with that spouse. And I would imagine mostly it's women. I'm sure you have both, but I would imagine it's usually the wife that is the surviving spouse. Is that usually the case?
Correct. Right. It's right.
So I mean, I know if people aren't planning, it could be a real, I don't want to say freak out, but it is. It's a little scary. It's a lot of kind of catching up with yourself and trying to figure out what you need to do in a situation that's really already very complicated and very
overwhelming.
It is super overwhelming. So tell us what some of the things are that people should plan well in advance or can plan well in advance. So when something like that happens, it's just either call Roxy or make something very easy for themselves.
Absolutely. I think, especially given last year with the pandemic, we see a lot of, unexpected, health issues. And, first and foremost, I think having a trusted advisor, whether it's, a state attorney, an accountant, a financial advisor, or even a healthcare, is really important. I think in place of well in advance as choosing a funeral home, I think it's number one of the things that you kind of need to get things in order, especially immediately post, obviously, death. Having lots of, if you have a really good funeral home, a lot of administratively, the home will take care for you, including contacting the Social Security office, getting a death certificate, obviously taking care of the loved one and taking care of their bodies and needs. So I think the first step of getting at least that piece, for the first week or the first month is really important. And then reaching out, to your attorneys, looking through records, contacting your employer or the deceased employer, making sure contacting any of the policies such as, healthcare policies, insurance policies, and pension. So those are really important. And then obviously a lot of times you can direct that to a CPA, contact your CPA and let them know, so that a lot of this planning involved around administratively are done for you, given if you have a really good, attorneys that can start at least get the ball rolling, getting drafting some of the documents, changing titles if needed, and if there's a probate, if there's no will or trust in place, getting that probate, process, already started is really important. So, so administratively, I think it's very, very overwhelming for a surviving spouse who, especially the ones who've never been really involved with the finances or, most of the house cares or titles, so I think being in advance is, I always encourage my clients that when I meet with my clients, I get to know them not just on one spouse. I would like to meet both spouses, talk to them even well in advance what some of that process is. Do they have a will in place?
Yeah, no, it takes out that fright or that fear too. So if they have that relationship with you before, even if they still aren't managing certain aspects of their personal finances, they at least know who you are. And it's such a comfort, I think, to know the people who will be really supporting you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and having all those things in place. I actually, every year, I try to go through in January and go through any of my stuff and update it. And I just wonder too, how often do people look for policies that may not exist or don't even realize that there's a policy to take advantage of? Do you see that very often?
Yes, sometimes. So one of the things I always constantly update, or at least have the conversation with my client, is with the policy. I actually request, like, okay, let me have a copy of the policy. I can look at them. Sometimes they may or may not locate it. We've had instances where we go, we were in the middle of the estate and we realized there was a policy that wasn't a named beneficiary. So those things can definitely happen. And, I think with the trusted advisor, as well as a loved one that cares around you, I think it's a combined effort, whether it's your trusted advisors or family members, especially for surviving spouse. So, children's, can come in place. So in a context of conversation, typically I would, obviously invite the surviving spouse. And if there's the carer, someone as a children or a caregiver, or I would welcome them there too as well, because it's important to be a supportive role, not just administratively, getting the things done, but having to make sure that the surviving spouse is taken care of emotionally. So that kind of brings me to the last part, getting all that in place. The next thing I tell my clients or the surviving spouse is take the time and grieve. Because a lot of times we forget to grieve. We're so busy, taking care of, administratively getting, contacting the Social Security, calling the funeral home, gathering the stuff, finding documents, that they're so busy and overwhelmed they forget to grieve. And grieving is a really important process because you need to be, calm. We don't want to, have it down 6 months or even a year down the road, and they're just overwhelmed and, they miss something because, it's especially losing a loved one. It's a really difficult process, to kind of, go through. And so my suggestion for my clients, we will take care of this thing for you. To go home now, be with your family, have a time to grieve, hug each other. It's real having gone through that myself. I think that grieving process is really important, and you have technically you have like 9 months, to deal with the tax issues. But to me, tax issue is tax issue. It's going to be here, but you need that time to, grieve. So contacting, the funeral home, your attorney and an accountant, and be done. And just to take a couple of, weeks, months to just grieve it out, it's really important.
Absolutely. And if you're working with care management too, like we work with the families and make sure that if they're not up to handling some of these pieces, that we get them to their professionals also. So it's so great to have a team in advance that you're working with. It's so important, I think, to take some of that off of your shoulders. And you're right, people need to be supported and they need to go through the process. And it's not just that day or that month or that year. It's the loss that they'll have and the changes that'll take place moving forward. So we talked a little bit about policies that may be there or may not be there, but how about the policies? This is more the planning side with you too. How about the policies and things that they haven't really pulled out for a while and they realize they have a different beneficiary than they really want on their policy?
Exactly.
Even though they have it in their will, they don't have it on the paperwork. So what happens there? And you probably see that every once in a while. I know I do.
It's very common, and we see that with Secure Act. A lot of the trust was, outdated, And so when Secure Act, it really changed a lot of how the beneficiary, the structure of certain, whether it's life insurance or pension, have changed the planning aspect. So it is really important for a trusted advisor, as well as I believe in a estate attorney, to have a continuous conversation with their client annually. As I mentioned, I always ask my clients, I would like to see a copy of your, the beneficiary destination, and make sure that everything's been up to date. And if there's any new law changes, I always send out emails and newsletter and letting my clients know. And I visit with them, like, have you had a conversation with your attorney regarding this issue? It may or may not change how you address on the issues on the provision on the trust document. So yes, we definitely see that so often, especially even as recent with the Secure Act. A lot of the provision in the trust was outdated for the estate planning purposes when it comes to pension. So absolutely, it's that's why a lot of times when we sit down with an attorney and draft a will or trust, and you kind of put it in the back burner, and then you will forget about it. 20 years later, you dig it up, and it's still
it's all my ex-wife is on there.
So it's so important, it's not just a matter of just getting a trust or will in place, but to revisit annually, just kind of like how you do an annual checkup, every year with your doctor. Do
right.
something of that. It's really important. And usually, with a trusted advisor, such as a CPA or a financial advisor, they will remind you, if, on an annual basis, there's a new law changes, you may want to talk to, an estate attorney, your estate attorney. And I think that's really important. And actually, most of the common thing I've seen recently is client coming over and realizing their estate attorney who originally prepared the trust has passed away. Ooh. And so that's another important aspect why you need to have that continuous visit with your estate attorney. Make sure all what the intent of the trust is still intact. Sometimes whether further down the road you want to change something and you forget to update it, and then it's too late to change that, because once the first spouse passed away, the original family trust document becomes irrevocable, at least on the deceased spouse aspect portion of that. And so it's important to at least have, if not annually, biannual, at least to have a very simple conversation, with your attorney or your CPA, to make sure that's still, whatever the provision on the trust is still, valid, right, and what you want for your intent.
Yeah, I mean, everything is so interesting in regards to even taxes at the end and how that changes in the value of your property and some of those items too. So I would say you must have a big, huge checklist when you sit down with your clients, even in the planning process. And, we don't get it done all in one day. It's something that we just have to kind of do a day at a time or a month at a time. And how long does it really take for your clients, you see, on average, to kind of prepare and organize everything that they need for you?
Depending on the size of the estate too. Usually, I give the clients at least 6 months to kind of handle some of administratively and family affairs. Most of the state returners usually do 9 months, and then if you have an extension, you have 15 months. And some of the portability, you have 2 years. So I start reaching out to the clients. Obviously, besides the initial conversation, I usually give them some time. And then 3 months into, I'll reach out to them, like, how are you doing? Here's a checklist. I would like to have a conversation. I know, if you need some more time, please, please do so. And then, it usually starts the process around 3 or 4 months, till probably 9 months. But in between that 4 months period, it's a lot of meetings and conversation, not just with the client, but with the estate attorney, with the financial advisor, right, assuring that this is where, whether it's tax or estate purposes, is the best route to go, whether, allocation of assets, the beneficiaries taken care of, or should there be a dynasty trust, going through the trust document, making sure and looking at every aspect of the provision, making sure, what the rights and for the surviving spouse and the trustees. So sometimes another common things that we see is, the trustee and power of attorney and directives have been, it's dated. So, you know, we want to make sure, you know, have a conversation with an attorney to make sure that at least a surviving spouse trust asset have been, again, revisited, updated to where she wants or he wants. So for sure, it's, you know, that process takes about from 4 to even 2 years, depending on the size of the state, if there's any issues, right, or finding, locating some of that. So a common thing with stock certificates, some of the cannot locate, as you know, prior, it used to be just paper and, you know, people having to dig it out, you know, so that's another. So again, having the conversation well in advance of any of that, it's really important. You know, what you sit down with the client, it's a hard conversation to have about death. Oftentimes they, you know, the first thing is, well, if I die, and I'm like, no, not if, when you die. It's a very uncomfortable conversation, but I want, you know, we want to let the, you know, clients know, both whether the husband or spouse, you know, some of the conversations to have, you know, to get them ready so that even, let's say, if one of the spouse passes away, it eases up administratively what the surviving spouse needs to do. And that's the kind of conversation I steer. It's like, it's not really for you per se, but it's for whoever's going to take care of your estate, you know, matters. It's going to be easier for them.
Right.
So planning, it's really important.
Yeah, we have something in our office that I created. It's called Gift. And when you set these things up for yourself, it's a gift to yourself because people are doing it the way you want you know, they're doing it the way they will set it up per your wishes. But it's also a great gift to the person you're asking to do these things for you because they don't know. And it's so helpful when you know, or you have a little outline of what somebody is asking you to do. And so G is for gather information. I inform the people that you want to have part of your plan. F for follow through, and then T, tell people what your plan is. Exactly. So important. Thank you so much. A tough topic, but something super important, and obviously something that can really take the pressure off if we're planning this well in advance. And we never know what our future is, and I think we have to just appreciate every day and every moment. But I think when we plan, we empower ourselves to be in a better position. And I think that is what is so important. So Thank you so much, Roxy. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And what is your email too? How do people get a hold of you if they wanted to email you?
Just roxy@taxartisans.com.
Fantastic. And then the phone number is here, Tax Artisan 626-662-1175. So if you need some support and some advice from CPA Roxy Chan, go ahead and give her a call. But thanks so much, Roxy. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Let's see. So I feel really fortunate to have such talented guests and great information for you. Again, I'm super excited to be celebrating our 14th birthday. Let me see where Steve is and bring him on with us. And let's see. Oh, good. Look, I brought you up versus somebody from down the street. And it looks like we have a bunch of people online with us watching too. I am not sure. Let's see if I can push a couple buttons and see if we can tell who's here or not. Let's see. I don't really know who it is. If you leave a comment, though, I will know who you are. So, and I also have a little feature here that maybe we can try out soon. It can actually bring a viewer on with us, so they can actually ask the question with you. So maybe they can whisper the question to you on camera, and then you can ask the question to me directly. What do you think about that? Oh, you're mute. There you go. You're back.
There we go. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, great guest, Mary Winters.
Oh, thank you. You know, there are a lot of really amazing professionals out there that really have incredible heart and extremely knowledgeable. And that's what's important to me when you have a craft that you can share and you support others with that. I think that's who you want to work with, right? So,
right.
Like,
well, I think Roxy brought up a good point about what a difficult conversation that must be, but I can see how she would manage that very well. So.
Oh yeah, she's so sweet. And it's so fun. I've been on different Zoom meetings with her more recently. Of course, everybody is in these bizarre different situations, and so we're doing a lot of Zoom calls, and her daughter jumps in on the call sometimes. She's just darling. So it's really, really neat to see as well. So I think we are done with our show for the day. You have a fantastic weekend. Any special plans?
I'm going to celebrate your 14th anniversary.
Yay! Okay, sounds good. We'll get a cake out. Maybe some champagne. That sounds good. All righty.
There we go.
Thanks so much, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks. Thank you so much for supporting us and being part of our success over the last 14 years. Just wanted to ask if you're an action hero or maybe you found the Fountain of Youth. We have this fabulous tool for you to check out online and take our quiz to see where you fall in the roundup of planning. And just go to aboutsenioursolutions.com and that quiz will be right there on the face page and you'll get a result immediately and some great tools to support you in a tailored way, right where you are in your planning process, some steps for you. So please go on and take advantage of that. Again, I'm Mary Winters and you are watching Visionary Aging through aboutsenioursolutions.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And we're going to go ahead and we'll add our little lady here, our little last. Here we go.